So we got ourselves a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer for the first time in several months. So I'm going to be doing a breakdown on some of the things in the trailer. I've never really done these things before, but I really wanted to give it a try. So if you like this, then that is awesome. Let's get started with the gameplay first and foremost. We have a new world. It's going to be Mount Olympus based on Hercules. Hercules is always in the Kingdom Hearts games, but at least this time we have some new stuff. New Heartless include these water Heartless that seem to put a rain cloud over you whenever you deal damage or whenever they feel like casting it. It'll be interesting to see how that affects you when the game is at a more finished state. And they also have these Roman armored bat Heartless that just remind me of the bats in Traverse Town in the first game. And we have these ram Heartless that sound a horn when they're getting ready to fight, which eventually transitions into this new limit, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be, where Sora, Donald, and Goofy team up and use Goofy's shield to blast back the enemies. I love limits in the game, I've always found them fun, and I'm looking forward to the ones we do when we have different party members. What's also great about Olympus Coliseum is it helps, and the trailer overall shows how open the gameplay is going to be, not only in its gameplay, but just in how big these worlds are and how wide open they are. The best example is when Sora is jumping off the cliff, and you look, and it's just this moment of whoa. At least that's the vibe I got from it. The only other thing we could really talk about for Mount Olympus is the boss fight against Rock Titan, which has a lot of stuff we had seen before in the previous Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, which was mainly the train sequence, but they also added some of the flow motion that we'd seen in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance on 3DS, where some sparkles will happen and we'll be able to run on walls and jump and just essentially have ridiculous amounts of movement. And it looks like they said, they were testing some gameplay stuff from the previous titles to put into Kingdom Hearts 3, and flow motion has made the cut. And it's really cool to see Sora running across walls and running up giant enemies like the Rock Titan, and overall getting to see the dumb Disney attractions again. We obviously have the boat, we have the train, and I think it's really cool that Kingdom Hearts is not only including movies, but is including theme park crap in their games, and it works. It works and feels like a welcome addition. Another big thing I wanted to talk about in the trailer is Sora's new outfit. It's a new mixture of Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance with a red and black look. And I like it. I think it's a natural progression, and it's good to finally see him in a new, possibly more permanent outfit for the series. So the next thing we saw was the Rapunzel world, which would be from the movie Tangled. And I'm really excited to see this one because it's new. It has some really nice green environments, really big and open the same way that Mount Olympus was. And we got to see another new Heartless. This one is like a dandelion, so when you hit it, it seems to shoot off its seeds, and those turn into other little baby Heartless, which immediately comes off as a brilliant Heartless design and seems fun to fight. But the most important thing are the transformations. Your Keyblade can now transform into guns, which we'd seen before, but we just get to see how ridiculous it can get, from dual handguns to just random fantasy crap. We get to see a bit more of it in the next segment, but it's just great to see how many combat options you have, between summoning Disney attractions, to regular Keyblade stuff, to magic, to transforming your Keyblade, which really isn't out of the ordinary when you remember stuff like the Keyblade gliders in Birth by Sleep. So moving on to the last segment of gameplay, we get to go back to Twilight Town, and they show a lot of stuff here. It's obviously the hub world with all of the Heartless that you remember, like large bodies and soldiers, but you also get a lot of flow motion stuff, bouncing off the walls, and just hitting enemies from above using your Keyblade guns, I guess. But we also get to see a summon that we're obviously going to get when we beat Mount Olympus, which is a Pegasus Disney ride, which you ride throughout the area after your Keyblade turns into it, and then you see lightning striking in the background, and it looks amazing. But even better than that, teacups. We got teacups. We also have another really subtle thing that I wanted to point out in the video, because it's one of my favorite parts just because of how awesome it is that you have a Blizzard flow motion stuff. So it looks like Magic's going to have special effects, because when Sora uses Blizzard, he slides across the floor with it like he's Sub-Zero. And it's really, really cool, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if they do a lot of stuff with that to make Magic even more interesting to use. And any way to mix up the gameplay is good, because this trailer is just filled to the brim with a bunch of stuff that makes the gameplay more fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. And that's pretty much all the gameplay had to offer. With that being said, there are a few things I want to talk about with the conversation between Ericus and Xehanort, which was bookending the entire trailer. So at this point we have young Ericus and young Xehanort talking over a game of chess, talking about the struggle of light and darkness. Young Xehanort gets to look over and sees his Keyblade. He gets to see his future Keyblade, which makes me wonder the relevance of him not always having that type of Keyblade, the significance of his Keyblade. It made his weapon of choice even more important because we get to see him not owning it, technically. So the last thing has to deal with the chess game. So let's pause on the most important screen of the chess game, which is one that shows the dark chess pieces are almost completely surrounding the light pieces. It seems almost 2-to-1, just doubling the forces, which sounds a little bit familiar. On top of that, you'll see that there are two insignias that are not seen from the side this time, which are a moon and a gear. Now, if you paid attention to some of the stuff in Kingdom Hearts 3D, you know the whole thing is leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3 having a Keyblade War of the new organization, the 13 Darknesses, to fight the 7 Lights that are, I guess, going to be led ultimately by Sora and the gang. Now, with that being said, what does the moon piece represent? That's got to represent Cyax, the Luna Divider, the guy who was powered up by the moon at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. So what does the gear represent? That represents Vanitas. It's the same symbol that you would see when you want to fight his powered up secret boss version in Birth by Sleep, and it's also what the end of his Keyblade looked like. So you take the fact that the moon is there to say, oh, it's Cyax, is because he's part of the Darknesses. Then that means Vanitas is there because he's one of the Darknesses, which was never actually touched on, and reveals, hey, he's gonna be one of the big bads. He's gonna come back. Does it make sense that he comes back? Not really, but who knows what's going on? Who knows what this is gonna lead to? But I like that Nomura included this in the trailer because it's a really cool revelation. It's really fun to play detective on his trailers because he tries to put in as much fan service and info in his trailers as he can. We don't get trailers and new stuff on his games for months and months at a time, so I really appreciate this kind of thing, and just being able to discuss the story of my favorite video game series just in general. But with that being said, that is it for the trailer as a whole, and once again, Kingdom Hearts 3 is now in development. No idea on a release date, but he did say in interviews that he is looking forward to revealing the next world and even more content at the D23 Expo, which is a Disney convention thing, in November. So if you found something in the trailer that I missed, or maybe some significance with the chess pieces, definitely let me know in the comments below. And let me know if you like this kind of video, and maybe I'll do it whenever we get these new trailers. Thank you so much for enjoying my random unscripted breakdown, and I'll see you guys next time.
On that land shall darkness prevail and light expire. The future, it's already been written. Who's to say I can't change it? And maybe light will prevail. There is more to light than meets the eye. You might be surprised. Oh, I hope so.